Welcome to episode 11 of the Build Series. I'm Corey Fields, and today we're wrapping up the exteriors. From final grading for drainage, adding rain gardens for stormwater, landscaping, and finishing off with fencing for privacy. Each step transforms bare lots into appealing functional yards. But before we get into landscaping, fencing, anything cosmetic, we've got to shape the ground right, because if the yard doesn't drain, none of those upgrades matter. Final grading is the last chance to shape how water behaves on the lot. If we don't get this right, you'll end up with soggy lawns, standing puddles, or water creeping towards the foundation. We're not aiming for anything dramatic, just a steady slope that moves water away from the house. Even a subtle grade makes a big difference. After shaping, we compact everything. That loose fill can settle for months if it's not compacted right. And the result, uneven yards and low spots that hold water. One of the biggest mistakes we see is builders only grading the backyard or just where grass will go. But water doesn't care about landscaping, it follows the path of least resistance. We final grade the entire lot so that runoff flows where we want it to and not where it'll cause problems later. A good final grade isn't just about looks, it allows landscaping to thrive, a place for water to drain, and fences to stand straight. If this part's wrong, everything you do after this is just damage control. Alright, so we shaped our yards and got our slopes dialed in, but now we need to actually manage the runoff. That's where these rain gardens come into play. A rain garden is basically a shallow basin filled with water-loving native plants. But it's not just about landscaping, it's a functional part of the drainage system. On this site, we ran a pipe straight from the bottom of the gutter downspout into the rain garden. So when it rains, instead of water running across the yard or into the streets, it flows directly into the rain garden where it slows down, spreads out, and soaks in. That prevents erosion, filters out pollutants, and reduces pressure on the storm drains. It's filled with good, rich soil to help infiltration and packed with plants that don't mind getting flooded or forgotten. In certain parts of Atlanta, rain gardens aren't optional, they're code. The city wants to reduce runoff, especially in areas with aging infrastructure. But not every city requires this. It's one of those things that's location specific, and that's why you need to know your local code before you start to build. Once the rain garden's in and we've handled drainage, now it's about curb appeal. The right landscaping ties everything together, frames the house, softens the edges, and gives buyers that first visual impression when they pull up. We don't overthink landscaping. We go with plants that are native or built for this climate, like clearers for year-round greenery or loropetalums for some contrast and color. They're tough, they hold up in heat, and they don't need a bunch of maintenance or chemicals to stay alive. And instead of sod, we went with seed and straw, because these are price point homes, and sod adds thousands without adding real resale value. Seed and straw gives buyers the sense of a completed yard, and the grass will come in naturally over time. We call this our landscape starter kit, just enough to make it look clean, cared for, and lived in without going overboard. We'll hit the front corners of the house, wrap the walkways, and anchor the beds with pine straw. It's quick, affordable, and pops in pictures. Landscaping's in, but to stay compliant, we've still got to plant our required trees. Here in Atlanta, you can't just scrape a lot and build, you have to replace what you removed. That's where the arborist requirements come in. The city uses a point system based on tree size and species. If you cut down trees, or if there weren't any trees to begin with, you still owe tree credits to bring shade and canopy coverage back to the sites. House 1 called for a 2.5-inch white oak in the front. House 2 needed tulip poplars in the backyard. These aren't just suggestions, they're on the approved arborist plans. The city inspects it, checks your spacing, and signs off before we can close out our permits. We space them away from utilities, driveways, and walkways so trees have room to grow without becoming a maintenance headache. These trees aren't just code compliance, they boost curb appeal on day one. 5 to 10 years from now, they'll offer shade, privacy, and a more established look for the home. Now, fencing. Fencing is one of those finishing touches that make a big difference. It adds privacy, security, and a sense of completion. For families with kids or pets, it's an often must-have and one of the first things buyers ask about during the showing. We keep it simple and budget-friendly with a standard wood privacy fence. It's clean, quick to install, and gives solid curb appeal from day one. You could go vinyl or metal for less upkeep, but at this price point, wood gives the best return without killing the budget. Once it's up, the backyard feels complete and buyers get a private, defined outdoor space. And for us, it's one more line item checked off the list. And that's it for episode 11 of the Build series. Every exterior detail that takes these builds from job site to finished homes. We focus on what really matters: drainage, code compliance, and low maintenance curb appeal. This isn't just about checking boxes, it's about building homes that people actually want to live in. Next up in episode 12, we're heading into the final stretch: punch out, touch ups, doors, hardware, mirrors, walkthroughs, everything that closes out the build the right way. If you've been following along, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, drop a like, and let me know what you think down in the comments. I'm Corey Fields, and thanks for watching episode 11 of the Build series. I'll see you guys in the next one.